The Ancient Magus Bride, Episode 14, Looks Breed Love. So, I went into this episode with some pretty low expectations from last week, and I gotta say, I actually really enjoyed this episode. I like how they brought back the vampire character, and Joel, this old author or whatever. I like how they brought these characters back because I remember that was kind of my complaint towards the beginning of the series, was that they keep introducing these like really cool side stories and really cool side characters that just get no time in the light. Like, that's it. They get introduced and that's it. And now we're seeing Oberon again at the end of this episode. So I'm glad that everything matters. Like, it's not just happening for no reason. And I appreciate that. One thing I didn't like about this episode, I mean, I had a couple flaws here and there, but one thing I didn't like was the whole fox thing. From last week, we had a cliffhanger. She turned into a fox, or this old mage, this ancient mage, or I don't even know, I can't remember his name, turns her into this fox, and she kind of loses herself a little bit in this creature, and she just travels onward and runs, and it is a good scene. I like it, but I just felt like it was going nowhere. Like, I feel like there was nothing gained from that scene at all, aside from it being a tad bit nice to look at. The actual scene itself, I feel like, had no repercussions. Like, okay, so now she's back with Elias, and what was that for? And it was just like 2 minutes, I felt like. So it just, I don't know, it felt a little trite. I'm not gonna lie. It was just a little like kind of like forced emotion kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm dipping too much into it. It just felt too short. I feel like that should have gone on longer. I thought that was going to be the main focus of this week's episode. I guess I'm kind of glad that it wasn't, but I feel like there could have been a little more time spent on that, on kind of her struggling and having kind of like that back and forth between her and Ruth, which I actually really liked Ruth in this episode. So that, it's not a huge complaint. I don't think it took out of the episode, but it definitely just felt a little like, huh? Like, what's going on here? That's kind of weird. I just realized I'm wearing these still. I don't know why I'm wearing those. I just finished the episode, so I was just like, I don't know why I'm wearing this. Anyway, I like the vampire girl in this episode. Again, I'm sorry, I can't. Names are tough. I'm not good with names, especially these really hard, like, English kind of, like, I don't even know what you would call it, Latin or something. These weird names. But I really liked her character. I liked her character originally when we first were introduced to her, and I thought that was actually a really heartfelt episode. The whole garden scene and everything, how he gets to end up seeing her again just for a glimpse at the end of that episode, and then this episode being able to say, give his farewell to her. I'm not gonna lie, I got a little bit emotional. There was tears about to break. Like, they were almost happening, and for a series to do that's not easy. That means a lot. That definitely. If a series gets emotion out of me, I can appreciate it, or at least on a certain level. So it did that very well. Even when Chise was crying outside of that scene when they were walking back home, I definitely felt that too. The end of this episode I don't quite get. I guess it's because she used this this fairy stuff for the eyelids or whatever. I guess because she used that, now she's like cursed, or now she's facing the consequences of that. I don't know if that's Oberon's doing. I don't know if he's responsible for that. He doesn't necessarily seem upset. He's not like, oh, how dare you use this, now you're going to have a curse. Like, it doesn't really feel like that. It feels like maybe it's just out of his control and it's just something that naturally happens. If so, that's kind of cool. I can dig it. Yeah, it was an okay episode. I just didn't really like the fox thing. The fox thing was just a little meh. I'm not gonna lie, I was like waiting for that to go somewhere, and it really didn't. And then we see Elias use this form, this like dog-looking form, which looks really cool, and then that's gone. Like, okay. So again, just the fox stuff I really didn't like. If I had to give this episode a score, I'd probably give it about a 7 out of 10. I liked where the episode ended up. I like just the whole melancholy vibe of it all. I love melancholy. Like, I love that kind of stuff where you're like, I'm sad about this, but it's natural, and this is supposed to happen, and it's beautiful, and I like those vibes going in to a series, and I feel like that this episode, and a lot of this series has achieved that. It's probably my favorite part about this series, is just kind of like this melancholic kind of just this, the overall tone, I believe, is melancholy, and I really appreciate that. I think that's a cool thing. That's a good thing that it has going for it. And it's something that I've never had tonal issues with the series at all. I think the tone is beautiful, and that's something that keeps me going into each episode. It looks like next episode's getting a little wild, though. I might end up recording a reaction to that. I didn't want to do it to this week because Darling and the Franxx released earlier today. If you want to check out my review and reaction to that, that's in the description below. Fantastic series, but it just took a lot of time. I had some editing problems, and I got it up a little bit later than I wanted to, so I couldn't really do a reaction to this. I want to try to do a reaction to this and Magus, but again, Magus just isn't that reaction type series. It's mellow, and that's okay. Not every series has to be wild and crazy animation or anything like that. The animation in this episode actually was kind of good when she was opening up the jar and the flowers and stuff came out, or when she was in bed and then like all these vines kind of. I like that stuff. That was cool. But again, it's just not like a crazy reaction type of series where I want to watch and just be like, oh my god. Like, I'm sure there will be those episodes later on when that dragon comes and just wreaks havoc on everybody. But as of right now, I think I'm going to keep it down to reviews. I can get these out a lot quicker. Comment down below. Give me your thoughts on this week's episode of The Ancient Magus Bride. What did you think of the send-off of Joel and this vampire character that kind of that felt this sadness? And what do you think of those melancholy vibes? And plus, what do you think of Oberon returning and being upset with her about her using the fairy stuff? And the fox scene. Does that feel weird to you as well? Like, am I missing something? Am I not getting something? Was that different in the manga? I don't really know. It just feels like it was like a 2-minute scene that was built up to be something much more last week's episode. I don't know. Comment down below. Give me your thoughts on all of it. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button if you enjoyed anything that I had to talk about today. And also, please be sure to subscribe for weekly anime reviews and gaming stuff all around. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.